Hey everyone, welcome to episode number 797 of NoDQ&A Video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A Video's affiliate, RingsideNews.com. Almost at 800 episodes now. If you can, please spread the word about NoDQ&A Video on social media. Share it on Facebook, retweet on Twitter, whatever you can. Let's make NoDQ&A Video episode number 800 the biggest one to date. I'm planning to do a special extended edition of NoDQ&A Video. Get your questions in at twitter.com/AaronRift. One more plug before I get to the questions today. Empire Wrestling Federation is celebrating their 20th anniversary show this coming Friday night in Covina, California. If you live anywhere in the Southern California area, please come out to this show. I'm almost certain you will have a great time. It's appropriate for anyone in the family. It's a great atmosphere. Kazarian's going to be there from TNA and Ring of Honor. Melina, former Divas champion, will be there. And it is going to be a great night. It's going to be their biggest show to date. Check it out. More details at EmpireWrestlingFederation.com. It's this coming Friday night. With that being said, let's get down to your questions now. First one comes from Alex Suggs. Do you think AJ Styles has a stronger chance to win the WWE title now at Extreme Rules, or will he just lose again? My guess is what I thought was going to happen at Payback will happen at Extreme Rules. We'll have the Bullet Club or the Club or whatever they're being called, Anderson and Gallows, costing AJ Styles the match. That or AJ turns heel, but I think it's more likely they turn on him because they're trying to get him to join the dark side and AJ is not going there. And I think they will get fed up with him and they will turn on him, cost him the match, and AJ will feud with Anderson and Gallows heading into the summer. My guess is that Roman Reigns will be defending the WWE title at SummerSlam against one of three people. John Cena, Brock Lesnar, or Seth Rollins. One of those three guys. And if that's the case, there's no need for Roman Reigns to lose the title right now. And as unpopular as Roman Reigns' WWE champion is right now, I do not see WWE giving the title to AJ Styles. Alright, next question here comes from Mr. Yuck. Could we see more New Japan Pro Wrestling alumni join NXT and WWE as time passes? Cannot deny the talent pool. Absolutely. I think it's inevitable that we will see the Young Bucks in WWE. I would be shocked if WWE doesn't sign them at some point. They're one of the hottest tag teams, arguably the hottest tag team on the indie scene. And I think it would be ridiculous to not give them a chance in WWE. I think that they would tear it up in the tag team division, and the tag team division would really benefit from having those guys on the roster. Another guy is Kenny Omega. I think he is another guy that will eventually end up in WWE. I just think he has a unique character. He's great in the ring, and I think that eventually WWE will sign him and he'll be on the main roster as well. Alright, this one comes from Jishnu. Hey Aaron, why is The Miz playing a stupid character who always runs away from his opponents, and why can't he be a fighting champ? The Miz is a great cowardly heel. He's a loudmouth, and the type of guy that comes out there and runs his mouth, that's the guy you want to see get his ass kicked. And Miz plays that role very well. I think the biggest problem with Miz being WWE champion is to be the world champion, you have to have a certain level of credibility, I think, as a tough guy. And to me, The Miz was never really fitting in that role as a tough guy. The Miz is better off as the guy that comes out and talks a lot of trash. I mean, The Miz, when it comes to promos, he's one of the best in WWE. And going out there and pissing people off and running his mouth is what The Miz does best. And you want to see somebody beat his ass so badly. I think that's the best role for The Miz, what he's been doing with Maurice and coming out there and being a cowardly heel. To me, it works a lot better than him being a tough guy heel. Alright, this one comes from Dylan Falk. Overall, what did you think about the CM Punk Triple H feud in 2011? Am I the only one thinking it should have been for Mania? I really wasn't a fan of that feud because I feel it slowed down CM Punk's momentum. It didn't kill it completely, but I felt that Triple H beating CM Punk did CM Punk no favors whatsoever. I think CM Punk should have just beaten Triple H and moved on. I'm not sure if waiting until WrestleMania was the right move, but certainly just having CM Punk beat Triple H, who was phasing down his career as a full-time in-ring performer and becoming the boss, just didn't make sense to me to have Triple H beat CM Punk. Now, from what I remember, there were issues with Kevin Nash being cleared to wrestle, and that's why Triple H ended up facing CM Punk. But still, I feel that Triple H had no business beating CM Punk when he was red hot coming off of the pipe bomb and Money in the Bank. Alright, this one comes from Sexual Vanilla 28. Hey Aaron, what feud would you have liked to have seen that never happened in the last year? Hashtag grow back the beard. So when I had the beard, everyone wanted me to shave. Now that it's gone, everyone wants the beard back. What the hell? But anyways, to answer your question, I would have liked to have seen Undertaker versus Sting have a feud leading up to this past WrestleMania in Dallas. Of course, that was not meant to be because of Sting's injury and retirement, but that was one feud that fans were fantasizing about for years and even decades that we never got to see, and that is just very unfortunate that we never got to see that Undertaker and Sting match. I mean, realistically, it should have happened in 2011. Sting should have made the jump then, but he decided to stay with TNA. That was when there was the most buzz about it. But even in 2015, the night after WrestleMania, everyone in the building in San Jose was chanting Undertaker when Sting was out there. That was the match that hardcore wrestling fans really wanted to see. Alright, this one comes from Sean T. Flick. What did you think of bringing back, or what do you think of bringing back Tony Chimmel, moving into backstage, and Renee Young to commentary? I would be fine with Renee Young on commentary, having her and Mauro Ranallo. I'm fine with Ian being the SmackDown announcer and Lillian being the Raw announcer. I always thought Tony Chimmel was good but not great. I would actually prefer if we were going to have a male announcer on the main show, whether it's Raw or SmackDown. I would like to see Justin Roberts brought back. I thought Justin Roberts was a really solid announcer, maybe the best male announcer since Howard Finkel. I thought he always did a really good job, and I think WWE should bring him back. That's just my opinion. I really enjoyed Justin Roberts. And I really don't have a problem with Eden on commentary. To me, she's fine. I mean, I really have no problems. Alright, this one comes from DJ. Hey Aaron, do you think WWE will push Finn Balor into another John Cena babyface character, or is it meant for him to be a heel? I could see him possibly being a heel if he comes to the main roster and teams up with Anderson and Gallows. But I could also see him working really well as a babyface. I've said this many times before. I think he's a very marketable character with the face paint and the entrance. I could see a lot of Finn Balor action figures and video game likenesses in future WWE games. I think that Finn Balor is a marketable character as a babyface, but I think he could do well as a heel as well. And him as a heel against a face AJ Styles could be a really entertaining feud. I think you could go either way with Finn Balor. Will he be pushed like John Cena? That I'm not expecting, but could he be pushed like a Jeff Hardy or as a heel like Seth Rollins? That I think is a possibility for sure. Alright, this one comes from the Salty Biscuit. Don't think this guy's a Noah fan. Do you think the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, deserve to go into the Hall of Fame solely as a tag team? I think they were a fairly successful tag team and a memorable tag team, but they only had about a 4-year run, and they were never officially the tag team champions. They did beat the Hart Foundation in an event that was never actually acknowledged on television. I think that they were a decent team, and if it was going to happen, it would be so Shawn Michaels could get a second Hall of Fame induction. I think it would be more about that than inducting Jannetty into the Hall of Fame. And Jannetty's another one of those guys that has had a shady history, and I'm not sure if WWE wants to induct him, but it could happen. I think it's 50-50 if it does happen. I think it depends on Vince. And if Vince decides the Rockers should go into the Hall of Fame. And like I said, I think it'll be more about having Shawn Michaels be in the induction for a second time. Alright, this one comes from Marcus S. Is John Cena one of the top 5 greatest superstars in WWE history? Depends on what your criteria is. I do feel that for most criterias, John Cena would easily make a top 10 in any category, even best in-ring performers. And I know a lot of people would disagree with that, but John Cena, in terms of longevity, had a lot of memorable matches over the years, and let's face it, it takes two to tango. I think that as far as pure star power goes, he's absolutely in the top 5. I mean, you have Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, The Rock, and right behind them has got to be John Cena and The Undertaker. I think those would be your top 5 biggest overall stars in WWE history, and some would argue Shawn Michaels could be in there, but Cena has been the guy in WWE. The Undertaker, as great a character as he was never the number 1 guy at any period. He was always maybe the number 2 or number 3 guy. John Cena, for over a decade, was the number 1 guy, the flagship of the company. So I would say, in terms of the star power and drawing power, John Cena would have to be in the top 5. Alright, this one comes from Dave Lesnar. Correct me if I'm wrong, you've been to both WrestleManias 21 and 31. Which WrestleMania did you prefer? That's a tough question to answer because I thought WrestleMania 21 was better in terms of more memorable matches. I think Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels was better than anything at WrestleMania 31. And I think the first Money in the Bank match was very memorable. You had Undertaker and Orton, which I thought was definitely better than Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt. But WrestleMania 31 had the stadium atmosphere, and it really, from start to finish, was a very solid card with very few weak spots, if any. WrestleMania 31 also had a better main event, definitely a better main event in my opinion, with a more memorable ending with Seth Rollins cashing in Money in the Bank. That was an incredible moment. Batista winning was a big moment as well, but Rollins cashing in, to me, was a bigger ending than the ending of WrestleMania 21. So I think I would have to give the edge to 31 for the overall atmosphere and the card being solid from start to finish. 21 started off great, but to me, it fell off a cliff at the end. I wasn't a big fan of the Big Show Aki Bono match. I thought John Cena and JBL was a glorified SmackDown match, very underwhelming. And Triple H and Batista was good, but not their best match. The Hell in the Cell match they had 2 months later was far superior. So I would give a slight edge to 31, but it's very close. And I got another one here from Dave Lesnar. Who, in your opinion, could lead the WWE into the next decade? Like the class of Ohio Valley Wrestling, Brock, Batista, Orton, and Cena. The Shield, Bray Wyatt. I'm guessing that Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose even, those 3 guys, plus AJ Styles, and a lot of the NXT guys like Nakamura, I think that they will be the future WWE. Finn Balor, as I mentioned earlier, these will be the guys to carry WWE heading into 2020 and beyond. And maybe even more guys like Austin Aries and Samoa Joe, if given the opportunity, will be part of the WWE main roster and carry the company over the next several years. Alright, this one comes from Ryan West. Do you think that Enzo's injury has actually helped the Vaudevillains get over with some good heel heat? I would say yes, and I do not blame WWE for taking advantage of the injury because of the fact that Enzo was okay. I feel it was fine to exploit that and let the Vaudevillains come out there and make fun of Enzo for being hurt. I thought that the whole thing where they mentioned Enzo being the realest guy in the emergency room, I thought that that was a great line. And that will definitely help the Vaudevillains get some heel heat. And they should keep playing up on that because they were the guys that can take responsibility for hurting Enzo. So why not go all the way with that and get as much heel heat out of it as possible? Alright, that'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A video. Once again, NoDQ.com is your source for everything regarding Extreme Rules. We got the latest news and rumors regarding Ryback, Adam Rose and his suspension, and various other topics. So stay tuned to NoDQ.com, and I will see you guys next time.